Oh, nice. I saw this recently, and it's in regard to Zebec's quarterly report for this year in Q1. Nothing I say is financial advice, but because I'm a fan of Zebec, I naturally want to talk about it and just kind of give my thoughts on this. Because did you know that in their quarterly report, they talk about how the total card volume, again, for Q1 of 2026 was around $65 million? Pretty impressive. Not the biggest, but still not bad in my opinion. The payroll volume was around $49 million monthly. Again, not the best of the best out there, but it's still pretty impressive. Let's take a look at, for instance, they talk about how they issued over 20,000 cards. There was over 500,000 transactions. They also talk about, for instance, how there's 243 enterprise clients. Really impressive, in my opinion. I mean, remember not that long ago when people were talking about how 100 was very impressive when it comes to Zebec, but now it's over 200, and more specifically, 243. Not bad, in my opinion. Furthermore, we take a look at how allegedly there was 21 chains supported. Pretty impressive as well. So when I take a look at this right here, I do find these numbers to not be that bad. I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it showcases a little bit of the progress when it comes to Zebec. And granted, it is a quarterly report, but remember when Zebec used to do those monthly volume reports? I like this better actually, because if it's in a quarter, it just kind of makes things a lot more, I think, digestible, makes things a lot more kind of simple in a way where it's not like month to month like that. I just like this a lot better. So thumbs up for me. I do like what I'm seeing when it comes to this. Keep in mind, when it comes to the Zebec quarterly report, they also talk about other achievements that they've done. And of course, these are achievements that I've already talked about. Like, for instance, they talk about what they did with Stellar in this post. They talk about how the super app went live and how the mobile version is basically coming soon. They also talk about expansion into ecosystems like Dash and as well as Alio. Also, if I take a look at them discussing about USD1, of course, World Liberty's USD1 and how that was added across their product suite. That was really cool. So if I take a look at that right there, they've kind of done pretty impressive things so far, at least this year. And we're not even halfway through 2026. So when people like to tell me that Zebec is not doing the best whatsoever, okay, maybe sure in terms of the charts, which I'll get into later, but when it comes to the pure fundamentals, I actually still like it. And also keep in mind, if I take a look at, let's say, the strides that Zebec is making, this can't really be said for a lot of other projects out there that kind of gave up. We see a lot of other projects out there closing up shop, basically. I just don't see that when it comes to Zebec. This is, again, not even halfway through 2026. Just imagine what future things maybe they have planned. We'll wait and see. But if we take a look at it, back in 2025, a lot of people thought that all the things that they just achieved in Q1 of this year, a lot of people thought they wouldn't have been able to achieve that. And a lot of people didn't even think about a lot of the stuff that they actually did. So imagine the stuff that we haven't even thought about and what they're already planning to do moving forward. So I do like that. I like the kind of progression when it comes to Zebec, and based off of their track record, I just don't think they're going to be stopping here in terms of trying to improve in terms of the fundamentals. Now, in terms of the charts, it's going to be controlled by the market sentiment. I have no control over that, but at least what's within Zebec's control in terms of the team, I think is developing and improving. I think that right there, if I still see motivation from the team, if I still see developments, I see no reason personally for me to just give up. Now, if the team gave up, then I'd probably give up as well, but that hasn't happened. So I'm still a fan when it comes to Zebec. Furthermore, if I'm taking a look at Zebec purely from a kind of chart standpoint of view, I feel like, okay, yes, it's not doing the best as of right now, but even despite that, actually the amount of holders as of late increased. And I'm not joking. It recently surpassed the 100,000 holders, which I've talked about before, but I just thought that was really impressive. Now, people like to say, well, how is this translating to whatever's going on to the charts when it comes to ZBCN? It's not really doing anything kind of instantaneously, but keep in mind, in the past 365 days, ZBCN has actually been up around 200%. So is ZBCN really doing that bad? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if we consider the pullback that it experienced last year, Arguably, yes, if let's say I entered at the peak of last year, but I actually have been consistently dollar cost averaging into ZBCN for well over a year. And sure, I've dollar cost averaged at moments too when it was like at around a 500 million market cap. That's something I clearly did as well. But if I just take a look at the trajectory overall from when I first held ZBCN up until right now, it hasn't done so bad, in my opinion. Personally, for me, I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but that's just my observation so far. Now, granted, had I entered at a way higher point, like last year, let's say just around a 500 million market cap, and then it went down to around right now, okay, sure. It's not the best out there. Granted, we're at around a 255 million market cap as of right now. But still, I see a lot of other altcoins out there going down like over 90% and whatnot. And again, this is the altcoin space. I can't do anything about it, but I think ZBCN, comparatively speaking, even compared to its closest competitor, which is Onyx, it's held up actually a lot better than XCN, which was surprising. You know, had anyone said that kind of last year that ZBCN would end up holding a lot better than XCN, a lot of people probably wouldn't really believe it, but that seems to be the case. I mean, if we take a look at XCN as of right now, market cap is below 200 million. And granted, though, I'm still a fan, but if we consider XCN last year reaching around a billion in terms of market cap, that's a pretty big dip. If I take a look at ZBCN, again, it reached around a 500 million market cap last year. Granted, the pullback's been around to 255 million, but it hasn't been as drastic as XCN, even despite not reaching the heights in which XCN reached last year in terms of market cap. So yeah, it's been having a pullback, but a lot of altcoins are as well. But it's really nothing out of the ordinary. And if I take a look at it again, ever since I started holding ZBCN, I can't really say I'm so disappointed because it's actually improved fundamentally. And also, furthermore, I feel like the team actually cares when it comes to Zebec, which can't really be said for a bunch of other projects out there. And to me personally, my kind of long-term plan when it comes to Zebec has always been to kind of think about this maybe years down the line anyways. So yeah, sure, Zebec had a pretty good year last year. Granted, it's had a pretty big pullback as of right now, but at the same time, I just haven't lost my conviction when it comes to Zebec because they're still updating, they're still doing things, so I can't really say that it's been such a bad project. I mean, there are some bad projects out there in my opinion, but I'm still a fan when it comes to Zebec. Not only this, I don't only just hold one project, but when I see something that's fundamentally improving, I don't mind. What I like about ZBCN is that it doesn't necessarily have this market cap that's too massive. Like Zebec as a project is not as massive as Stellar, but at the same time, it's not a microcap. So I do kind of like that. I feel like even though I'm still a fan of Stellar, for instance, or something like Ripple, Zebec as a project just isn't as popular as Ripple, which I don't mind though, because that's what I'm looking for. It's not too massive, but it's not too small either. What I like about Zebec is this. Even though I'm still a fan of Stellar and also like the implications of what Ripple is trying to do when it comes to this space. They're very, again, big projects. If I take a look at XLM, the market cap is just really massive. Now, even with the pullback, it's still pretty big. But if I take a look at something like ZBCN, it kind of gives me the same vibe anyways as Ripple and Stellar because Zebec pretty much is focused on the global trade and finance market, primarily speaking, and then it has an aspect of ISO 20022. So it kind of reminds me of that, but it just has a way smaller market cap, way smaller presence, which I don't mind. Again, that's clearly what I'm looking for. I like these type of projects that are not too massive, but not too small either. And again, when it comes to Zebec, what it represents, it just suits what I'm looking for overall because naturally I'm also a fan of Solana as a layer 1 blockchain. So also seeing Zebec have an aspect of Solana, I do like seeing that as well. And that's also kind of one of the main factors why I'm such a fan when it comes to Zebec. Keep in mind, having over 200 enterprise clients, more specifically 243, that's really impressive. Other projects out there, they struggle to get 10, to even get 5. Even just like a couple is already considered really impressive. This having over 200, again, more specifically 243, that's really difficult to achieve. Not so easy. Could you imagine getting these clients right here? It's not that easy, right? Imagine all the meetings they had to do, all the kind of effort they had to put out. Furthermore, the time, the energy, everything. That requires a lot of dedication. something that can't really be found in some other projects out there. Furthermore, if they have 243 enterprise clients, imagine what they had to go through to get that. Because if they approach like 1,000, let's say, enterprises, I'm pretty sure that not every single one is going to say yes. There's probably going to be a certain percentage that might say yes, but there's probably also a good amount of percentage that might say no. So 243 after they've already asked, probably, I'm assuming, maybe more, and still the final number being 243. Could you imagine the effort again and the dedication? That requires a lot of perseverance. If the team doesn't care, why would they prioritize having that many enterprise clients? Or why would that many enterprises even want to believe them in the first place in terms of being a client? So I think that right there again is a testament to what the team has been up to. And Zebec doesn't even really have a massive team. Their team members is over 25, so it's not like something so massive like some other projects out there, but still they're able to accomplish this type of stuff. Again, that's a 2 thumbs up for me. I think that's really impressive in terms of the effort and dedication that they put in order to achieve that many enterprise clients. However, I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.